So, after a couple of fun-filled weekends playing the Modern Warfare beta, I did have quite a lot of fun actually. It is time to focus back on Battlefield 5 and the upcoming 4.6 update. Now, last week, during the Modern Warfare beta, things were very slow for Battlefield 5. There was no Tides of War challenges to complete, and this was because Chapter 4 Defying the Odds finished the week before with the Breda PG rifle, and right now we're kind of sitting in this limbo for what's coming next, and that's where 4.6 comes in. First of all, let's address last week having basically nothing happening to engage or excite Battlefield 5 players. I think that was actually quite a smart move if DICE intended it to happen that way. If DICE had decided to do anything, it would have been drowned out by the noise being made by the Modern Warfare beta. I think we're all very much aware of how badly Battlefield 5 is spoken about in the FPS community, and Modern Warfare has completely taken the spotlight these last couple of weeks, so why bother competing for airtime with something that's got a huge advantage over you? There's just no point in doing that. So whilst last week was a particularly quiet one for Battlefield 5, I don't think that was necessarily a bad thing at the moment. Now the Modern Warfare beta is over, DICE has a clearer path to release their next update, and shooter fans, they're not being distracted by something brand new and different. DICE essentially has the floor again. And what DICE is planning to do with that floor time is start the process for rolling out update 4.6. In a tweet this morning, Jakub Ajmal, who's a producer at DICE, he confirmed that tomorrow, the 24th of September, there's going to be a back-end server update happening for Battlefield 5. And this is to get the servers prepared for update 4.6. The servers, they're going to go offline at 8 AM to 11 AM UTC tomorrow for this maintenance, and then they're going to come back online. Presumably, they'll be ready for the 4.6 update at that point, and then that update can be rolled out in the very near future. At the time of making this video, it hasn't been confirmed when the 4.6 update is actually going to be released for players to download, but I would be surprised if it wasn't this week, considering next week begins on the 30th of September. That's the last day of the month, and that would be cutting things just a little bit too close. With this back-end update, this server maintenance needing to happen before the rollout of the main 4.6 patch, that's got me thinking that whatever is coming to Battlefield 5 in the next few updates, the next few months, it requires some new stuff going on in the background. So perhaps this server maintenance is in preparation for updates beyond 4.6, and obviously including 4.6. We all, of course, know that the Pacific chapter, that's coming in the next couple of months, and it's likely going to become a huge source of new content for the game, and maybe there'll be some new systems introduced on the back end that we don't know about yet. Something I can 100% confirm for the 4.6 update is the Operation Underground map. This has been confirmed a few times now by Battlefield community managers Jeff Braddock and Adam Freeman on Reddit and social media. It seems that the previous October release date has been switched to September, which is great news. For once, we're not seeing a piece of content delayed. Instead, it's being brought forward. To be fair, this did also happen with the Mercury map back in June, but it only released a day earlier than stated. It looks like Underground is going to be coming a whole month earlier than stated. Of course, that's not going to magically remedy all the issues that players have with Battlefield 5, but it does mean that content that a large section of the player base is waiting on arrives that little bit earlier, and it creates a little bit more excitement. Battlefield 5 needs any steps forward it can get, really. As for the other multiplayer map that has been confirmed and we're still waiting on, Al Sundan, there's still no official release date for this map, despite it now being 88 days, nearly 3 months, since it was initially delayed. June 27th, that was the initial release date. It got pushed back, and to be honest, we haven't really heard that much about it since then. We know the development team have been working on this issue. The most up-to-date info we actually have is that the map has a major graphical issue that renders the map unplayable on the larger game modes, but apparently, and I'm saying apparently because this is kind of just an extension of what we've been hearing for the last 3 months, apparently great progress has been made towards getting the map back towards a working state. This was stated on Reddit as part of a reply by Battlefield community manager Jeff Braddock. Now, if that information means that the map is pretty much ready to go, and I'm not going to read too much into Jeff's reply because that would be silly, it would be awesome to see this map arrive in Update 4.6 alongside Operation Underground. That'd make this a really nice update for all different types of players. You'd have Operation Underground for infantry fanatics like me, and then you'd have Al Sundan for more vehicle-focused players or players who prefer a more open style of map. Either way, a near 3-month delay on a map, and the only information we have is almost exactly the same as the information we had 3 months ago. That really isn't a good look. DICE needs to come out and let us know what's happening. If Al Sundan isn't coming with 4.6 and it still needs to be fixed, honestly, that's fine. We just kind of need to know that. It's been 3 months since this map should have come out, and we still don't really know anything about it. Any communication on that map would be appreciated, DICE. However, besides all that Al Sundan anticipation or whatever, there are a couple of other things that I can confirm for 4.6. We know these things are coming, a couple of fixes to some high priority issues. The high pings that almost everyone has been dealing with since the last update, 4.4, those are being fixed with the 4.6 update. This was an issue that DICE tried to get together for a hotfix earlier in the month, but the team decided instead to put the fix into the 4.6 patch. That allowed them more time to make sure the fix did actually fix what was broken. I think I said fix far too many times there. These kind of delays I can totally understand. We want to make sure we have a nice stable game that we can play, and in reality we've only had to wait a couple of weeks, which isn't the worst delay. I'm looking at you, Al Sundan. And then another fix that's been confirmed, and this will make players of the Firestorm Battle Royale mode quite happy. Recently, looting returned to a very bad state. That's being fixed with update 4.6. 4.4 basically took the mode back to its launch state, where loot would bunch up on top of each other, making certain items completely inaccessible when you killed an enemy player. It sounds like with update 4.6, the collision of these items is going to be re-enabled, so things will sit separately on the ground. However, I will say this, and this is something I remembered when I was making this commentary, we're still yet to see the proposed improvements to looting that were alluded to all the way back in March, April time when the DICE team took over the development of Firestorm. DICE said they were working on something bigger when it came to looting. We still have no information on what that is or what it's going to look like, but I'm going to hazard a guess and say that that's probably been shelved now, considering Firestorm just didn't get the support that it needed at the very beginning, and it's barely even relevant in the Battle Royale space anymore. It's a big shame, because I know some people do really enjoy playing it still, despite the fact that matchmaking times are ridiculously long, and when it came out for about maybe 3 months, I had a really good time with it, but it never got the support it needed. It was never updated quick enough, and it never really felt like it was a priority for DICE. Criterion did all the work for this mode, and it's really sad to see it fade into almost irrelevance just 6 months later. It's now just a bit of a dead weight in Battlefield 5, unfortunately. There will, of course, be several more fixes and changes coming in this 4.6 update, and apparently the patch notes are adding up to about 8 or 9 pages long at the moment, which is quite significant. I'm assuming those are going to launch the day before the update goes live based on past patches, but once they are up, I'll have a video going up on the channel working through all of those and highlighting the most important ones so that you are all right up to date. At the moment for Battlefield 5, I am quite excited for its future. I'm excited for update 4.6. I want it to be another update like 4.4. It fixed a bunch of issues and it added some new content at the same time. The advantage that 4.6 has is that the content that's coming, I think, will be received a lot better by most of the players out there. Operation Underground is confirmed for the update, and I've got to say, it would be an awesome surprise if Al Sundan came with it, but I'm not confident at the moment that that's going to happen, just because we've not really had any information about it. As I mentioned, once we get those patch notes, I'll bring you more info on update 4.6, but for now, that's all I've got. Thanks very much for watching. Drop this video a like if you enjoyed it, a dislike if you didn't, and if you've got any thoughts and opinions, put them down below in the comment section. But until next time, my name is Westie, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.